Today's astrology report is looking more from about the 7th of April, where our planet Uranus, an outer slow planet, which takes about 7.5 years to travel in a sign, is moving out of the sign of Taurus, which is very fixed, very earthy, and it's moving into the airy sign of Gemini. So we are talking about lots of changes, things that were changing in Taurus were about, it had all to do with our desires, our land, our valuables, the things that were earth-like. So we're talking about also our material stability. And it brought a lot of disruption from there. It's moving into air, into the sign of, I beg your pardon, Gemini. And now it's going to be about communication. So we're going to find the changes and this instability and lots of things that are coming up in terms of innovation, so tech, AI, but also in our communication systems. These are going to be the areas that are going to be disrupted the most, or where they're going to be changed at the most. Aries is about pioneering, moving forward and taking action within these changes. So that's going to be very important. There is a general sort of increased insecurity between, us as humans, and a restlessness, because at the same time we can see what's happening in the world, but we also can feel that the changes are important. They are very, very relevant at this time. Remember, we're talking about slow planets, so we're talking about the changes that are going to be taking place over a longer period of time. There's instability in trade and movement, which makes sense because, of course, with what's happening globally. When we look at Uranus in Taurus breaks what is stable, and Uranus in Gemini is going to agitate what is mobile. So it brings irregularity, innovation, like I said, and a disturbance in our thought and how we exchange our thoughts. Self-awareness is really important. I keep emphasizing that because the more we have self-awareness, the better equipped we become into dealing with our environment, with our day-to-day life, how we communicate and how we exchange with others, which is very important because you are very important. And what you think, say, and do in your world has an impact on everybody around you. So it is important that we pay attention to our thinking. Our thinking obviously produces our feelings, and our feelings are the vibration and frequency that we send out into the world. So as you become more aware of news that's traveling on Facebook or Instagram, on Reels or TikTok or anything like that, please make sure that it's true before you actually move it on, because there is our Neptune. Our Neptune is talking about how we need to be more aware of what we are trusting, where the illusions are, and where the truth is. So if we all have an impact on the world, then we all have a responsibility to make sure that any communication, because now remember Gemini, Uranus in Gemini is very fickle. So what kind of information are you spreading? Are you taking what you're seeing and reading as absolute truth and spreading that around and just creating more chaos in the consciousness? We are going to use our free will to choose the consciousness of truth rather than illusion. The moon is also going to be in conjunct to Venus in Taurus, so there's this disagreement between our desires and our emotional needs. There's going to be strain on relationships and a real sense of feeling dissatisfied in what our emotional needs are, whether they're being met or not. Mercury is direct in Pisces, hallelujah for that, but he is only out of his shadow by the 9th of April. But after that, hallelujah, thank goodness we're moving forward. So even though Mercury is in the sign of his detriment, because it's like trying to speak, understand, and listen underwater, it does recover a little bit more strength. It's trining Jupiter in Cancer. So it's a beneficial one because it's going to grant us very sound judgment. It's going to give us wise counsel, and also the ability to reconcile the matters that have been, going a bit haywire since the beginning of Mercury's shadow before he hits retrograde. There is a conjunction between Vesta, and that also is about our inner devotion. It's about where are we finding inspiration. The sun moves into Aries, which is also moving towards Saturn, and Aries pioneering, Saturn very, very sobering. He's strict and he wants self-discipline and he wants structure and he wants us to think about the long term and how everything we're in a hurry to do is going to affect the long term. Aries wants to do everything quicker now. Saturn is moving into an aspect with him and is saying, I need you to slow down and I need you to do things in a way that are more structured and self-disciplined. The Hygeia is also, and it's at an anaretic degree in Gemini, so huge emphasis on our health and our well-being. Take good care there. Pluto's in Aquarius, also an air sign, also at early degrees, both Juno and Pluto, as a matter of fact, and they're trining the moon on that 7th. So there are underlying alliances and agreements that are taking place. So there's a deep transformation below the surface. It's not visible to us yet, but I promise you it's happening. It feels chaotic around us, but remember that chaos is the instigator of change. Our job is to use our consciousness, or rather our awareness, to create a consciousness, I beg your pardon, that's more trusting and more light-based. So, looking ahead, we are looking at a configuration that is the moon opposing Saturn, Neptune in Aries. This suggests uncertainty, and the pressure is there for us to practice more self-awareness, be more self-disciplined, self-regulate our emotions, because our emotions are the frequency that rule the energy that you attract into your space, into our space. The presence of Neptune, same opposition, it leads to misinformation. So again, is it true? Before I spread it, is it true? Mercury and Jupiter have a trine and they offer a little bit of a counterbalance. So there are solutions that arise. There is a huge need to use our discernment. Discernment is to judge truth versus untruth. And in general, there's a sense of restriction and accountability. While Pluto in Aquarius is in trine to the moon, it shows that this collective shift that is taking place, this collective change in systems and alliances and group structures that are taking place. They're not immediately visible, but there's a long-term transformation at play here, and you are important in that transformation. So a period of emotional strain and uncertainty, which means we then need to practice self-regularity. It's testing leadership, self-leadership, as well as world leadership. And there's a lot of opportunities for resolution that's coming up. So we just need to be more thoughtful about our communication, more resourceful when it comes to our communication, and restructuring how we communicate. Progress is slow, but it is progress. I wish you a very blessed weekend, and I thank you for watching All Things Moons and Stars. We will chat soon. Bye-bye for now.